That is just not gonna. Okay, there. Jeez. You know, can I can I get one stream that actually goes right? Where the sound actually comes on when it's supposed to. I would really like that. That would make me so happy. But anyway, doing something a little different today. We got some Cuban fried chicken, some Tostones, some Isla Bella right here in Tampa. Down here on Fowler Avenue. It's one of the top rated Cuban spots. And tonight, we're flying down south to Havana. Probably one of the most fascinating cities. And I'm After Z. Welcome to the flight. For every week, we're basically just gonna go pick a place where we're gonna land and get some food from that place, and kind of just talk about the culture. And that's the Tostones. I don't know, you probably can't see them real well, but that's what they look like. Ooh. Okay. And then we have that's the meat right there. That's the chicken. And of course, plantains right here. They're right in the box. I'll show them later. So it's Cuban fried chicken, some tostones, and some plantains. Some of my, it's right here from Tampa. Right here on East Fowler Avenue. So we're flying down south to Havana, Cuba. We're gonna go ahead and actually push in right now and do that. It's about 45 minutes off of Mexico. I'm gonna actually check if we can get a career flight down there, which I think would be super interesting and lucky. So let's go. Oh. Come on. Let me fix all of this real quick. I'm working on just trying to log into YouTube chat. That way I can hear everyone. I have it in one place, but now it's telling me that I can get it from a different place. I don't even trust it, man. I'm just gonna do it the way I was doing it, which was working fine. So, this Mac really annoys me sometimes.
require extra time, the little assistance working on.
You're messing everything up right now. What is that? Okay. This is crazy. You know, I have an idea. Let's not even try to do it. Do that. Let's just please tell me this does not have YouTube. Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't though. Why would it? Why would it have it? It would only make sense. Okay. I've got that. I gotta. It's gonna go right there. Well, I get that downloaded. We're gonna check if we have any missions. Whether they're. We'll start with free. The ones that don't actually use my vehicles. I apparently muted. So that's nice. Specialization available. Congratulations. Alright, congratulate me. Thanks. Remote cargo? What am I gonna do with that? Okay, this is employee. Anything in Tampa. Tampa. Tampa's gonna be like up here somewhere. I don't know what its code name is, but it's not looking likely. I think it's unlikely that we find something and we find something from Tampa. We're gonna have to do a freelancer, like a, you know, like a just a regular mission. It's not gonna earn us money, but at the end of the day, it's not always about making money. We can do some of those career missions at some other point. So we're gonna do a free flight. And we're going from Tampa International, right there. And then from Tampa, we're gonna go down to so that's departure. And then we gotta find Havana. That should be easy. Any international airports are here? This is the closest one. I don't know what it looks like, how big it is. That could be tricky because I'm gonna be flying a jet. That looks like a really tiny runway. What about this one? I'm gonna need some ground. So I'd love to see at least 2 runways. This looks paved. That's a good sign. We'll go here, Santa Fe. I think that's probably a solid call. What is going on? Why is my stream failing? It's having a real hard time. But it says excellent. So which one is true? Alright, we're doing a jet today. I'm a little scared of this one, but I haven't flown it before. Not gonna lie, I'm a little afraid of it. The H4, HA420. I haven't flown it before. I don't know what it's gonna be like inside. I don't know. I think that's too much. My choices are either the Pilatus PC24 or this Piaggio P180. One of those two is gonna win, and I think I'm leaning towards the Piaggio. Let's take a look at some liveries. She's a big girl. I'm definitely going with this configuration. What about this one? That's pretty serious, isn't it? What does this one look like? I love the browns. It's a bit more simple. We got a crazy blue one here. Ooh, that's crazy. I'm thinking maybe we go blue and just simple like this. Yeah. Fuel and payload. Let's fill her up. Call sign will go ZEE. Flight number is fine. I don't know what I just did. But let's land in Tampa. Again, today, welcome to Fight and Bite, where every week we pick a destination, we learn where we're leaving from, we learn about where we're going, we eat some food from a place where we're about to land. This will be at least once a week. Probably only once a week for a while, but I'd love to expand it to be like bi-weekly, not bi-weekly, you know, twice a week, or even more than that, depending on funds available and availability of the food, obviously. The model is behaving weirdly. I don't understand why. Okay. We're gonna click ready. And we're actually gonna shut her down. Why are those? Okay, it is working. All right. This is what we're flying today. What's the button for that? There it is. I haven't done this in a while. I've forgotten a lot, I think. So it's Piaggio P180 Avanti 2. And we are flying from Tampa, Florida over to Havana, Cuba. I did just turn everything off. Cockpit of this thing is, you know, it's heavy. Full of just crazy buttons. Lots and lots of colors too. But what matters is, for me at least, is up here. Autopilot is up at the top. For the most part. There's nav. Where's the rest of it? Heading. No, maybe I'm missing part of it. It feels incomplete. Yeah, I really haven't done this in a long time. Got all told here. Heading indicator here, and then we can use the navigation there. FLC if you want to clamp up or down, and then vertical. VNav down here. Where's the flight director will probably turn on automatically. Something that's worth checking. We did pick the executive version of this one. I'm actually mostly use this for like my medvac flights. You know, they're pretty interesting always. She's very round right here. Almost looks like she's a little pregnant, I think. At least that's how I feel about it. That's just my personal thought. Whoa, whoa. No, I didn't do that. That was a mistake. It was a mistake. We're not starting yet. Whoa, that's weird. I thought I could just... I know I had to freaking do that. That's weird. That's too much. Aha. That does mean a pretty big change. Here's what I was thinking. Yeah, it would take a pretty big change. So we're going from Tampa, Florida to Havana, Cuba. I guess we'll talk about this stuff in a minute. Let's go back in. Let's get her on. It's time. Actually, I haven't looked at any of my flight plans. I don't know if anything is set up because I don't usually do. Looks like we do have a flight line and a flight plan, so that's good. Fairly simple. Looks like it's 229, 187, 165. 30, 75, 345. Not a lot in the high hundreds. What's our first really long distance ones in case I want to just use heading? 2, and then this is 293 at 187, so let's set that. Turn on. $187. And I set everything else up while she warms up. We're gonna want the flight director to be on. We're gonna want nav mode. Probably can't set it yet. Why is it moving? Why is it moving? Brakes should be on. Why is it moving? So I can't wait to take off. Are you kidding? Like, relax. This map I just don't understand. I can't tell. Alright, here, let's send this to Avionics. And then nav source FMS, that's what we want. Nav mode. Nothing. We may have to do this with headings. Okay. Challenge accepted. Speed match. Where's my vertical speed? Was this really it? No, this is feet per minute. Where is my altitude? There it is. That says 10,000. Where are we supposed to go? 20? 2008. We're not going very high at all. They want us in the 2000s. That's crazy. We're not doing that. I guess we are. I mean, I've never seen it that low. Maybe they mean 20,000? I'm gonna have to listen to ATC what it says. But I'm setting it to 20 to start. There's an autopilot button over here on the right. It's white. Like I said, it's been a while. We're gonna get this map. That gives me the full map. I swear to God, there's a button. Again, it's been too long. Looks like it's straight out, and then we're making a left. Okay. It's pretty loud. It's pretty freaking loud. I'm gonna have a plantain. I'm getting hungry. Let's get off the ground so we can eat. Oh, Isla Bella. You're doing a good job with those plantains. They are wonderful. Very, very wonderful. All right, are you ready? 45 minutes. Gulf of Mexico. Straight to Havana. This is supposedly a Tampa International. It doesn't really look like it to me. Let's do rural. Let's make sure. Tampa executive. Alright, oh well. It's Tampa anyway. Hilarious. Alright. Alright, that's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. It's gonna get me really confused. I'm having to All right. Before we take off, let's talk about. Hold on, let me turn this down a little bit. Let's talk about where we are here in Tampa, Florida. Most people know Tampa for like Busch Gardens, for the beach, obviously. But here's what most people don't know. Tampa was actually one of the most has one of the most legitimate claims to Cuban culture anywhere in the country. More legitimate, I don't know. This is kind of a stretch. In Miami, maybe. You can argue about that all day. But here's the history. In the 1800s, Tampa had a neighborhood called Ybor City, named after the Cuban cigar manufacturer named Vincent Martinez Ybor. He actually moved his entire cigar operation here from Cuba. Thousands of Cuban, Spanish, and Italians workers came with him. The neighborhood they built still exists today. You can walk those same streets. And that Cuban community brought their food, their music, their culture, and that connection between Tampa and Cuba, or Cuba. I'm not even going to try to say it fancy. That's not history. That's still actually right now here in Isla Bella, restaurants like that. Where I picked up tonight's meal, it's family owned. It's obviously a Cuban restaurant run by people keeping that tradition going. So the fact that we're flying from Tampa, Florida, down to Cuba tonight, eating Cuban food from a Tampa family restaurant, that's not a coincidence. That's the entire point of this. And again, the hope is to do it at least once a week. We're flying a jet tonight, obviously. I've already talked about it, but again, we can take one more look. It's the Piaggio P.180 Avanti 2. It's got a cruise speed of about 390. It's pretty quick, but it's actually not super hard to fly. I've done a bunch of missions with it, like medevac missions in career mode, but I've never flown it in free mode, which is what we're doing today. But, we're cleared for takeoff. Let's go ahead and jump in. Let's make this happen. Power up. Park and brake. I'm going to keep those. Oh, we are going quick. Like I said, she is quite the beast. All right, we're up. Wheels going up. Get ready for the turn. I'm going to pull back on power so we don't go over speed. Not that that matters in free mode. But I'm looking at the map. We're going to zoom in just a little bit to help me make this turn before I turn on the autopilot. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm going to start to turn now. Nice and gentle. We are leaving Tampa. It's pretty weird looking right now. But there's, I think, Tampa International right there, maybe. We're looking for 187, I believe, right there. I could be wrong, but that's why we have the AP. But we are off the ground. I'm going to turn this on and see what it does. And we are going to do FLC. And we are going to do yaw dampener, please. No on. And then we're going to do try nav mode. It's not going to work. We got to do heading. Where we at? We're gonna need to go a little bit further than that to get back online, but this should keep us. We're gonna go to like 209. Oh, I did a mistake. I'm having a lot of difficulty seeing the line from the smaller map. All right, now we go to 183, 3, 2, 1. Double check that that's actually our heading. It's 187. All right. And we're doing that for 293 miles, the majority of the distance. This is still not perfect, but it's fairly parallel to the way we're going, so we will end up there no matter what. And I think it's within an acceptable distance. I forgot to turn up the volume on the plane. That sucks. Okay, I think we can take this off.
2 miles west of 58 Foxtrot Alpha, 8700. Request flight following.
Hotel Oscar Mike Tree 61 Tree Heavy, Tampa approach.
I'm happy to stay at 10,000.
Squawk 1201. Z Hotel Oscar Mike Tree 61 Tree Heavy.
Radar contact 3 miles southwest of 58 Foxtrot Alpha, 9500. Altimeter 2992.
Roger. Z Hotel Oscar Mike Tree 61 Tree Heavy.
Z Hotel Oscar Mike Tree 61 Tree Heavy contact Miami Center on 1 Tree 2 decimal tree 5. Good day.
1 Tree 2 decimal tree 5. Z Hotel Oscar Mike Tree 61 Tree Heavy.
All right. All right, I'm gonna turn this down just a little bit. So where are we going? We're going to Havana. La Havana, the capital city of Cuba. Population of about 2 million. It was founded by the Spanish back in 1959. It's one of the oldest cities in the Americas. Here was what I think is kind of cool about Havana. The cars are kind of really old and still working somehow due to a U.S. trade embargo that started in the early 1960s, meaning that Cuba could not import American cars anymore. So the cars that were already there on the island in 1959, they just kept them running. There are 1950s Chevrolets, Buicks, Fords still driving around Havana today. Not in a museum, right? Not like museum pieces, actually like in daily taxis. Mechanics there have just become just so resourceful and ingenious about fixing those cars and fabricating the pieces that they need. That it's its own, I feel like it has to be its own industry, right? It has to be. The music, Havana is the birthplace of son Cubano. the style that eventually became salsa. So if you walk down the street in Old Havana, there's live music coming out from every bar, every restaurant. Not for tourists. This is just how life kind of is over there. So we're going to look at some travel videos about Havana before we do our in-flight meal, which is going to come right after that.
It is our last day in Cuba, and we by no means claim to be experts on this crazy, unique, complicated, beautiful country, but we have learned a lot.
So in today's video, as we spend our last day here wandering around Havana, we want to share with you all the things that have surprised us most about this country. When we originally came to Cuba, we came here with a lot of misconceptions, and one of the biggest ones for me was how prevalent the cigar culture was here. I expected to show up in the country and everybody was going to be walking around smoking cigars, but it turns out that's not the case, at least anymore, and that's because we learned from one of our guides that most of the locals here actually consider cigars a luxury. So unless somebody is actually working in the tobacco industry and they can get them at a very reduced price, you're not going to see a lot of locals walking around smoking cigars. It turns out it's mainly for the tourists.
When I pictured the style in Cuba, I've always pictured fedoras and white clothes. And it turns out it's true. There are a ton of people wearing the traditional fedoras and a lot of people wearing white clothes too, but it's not what you think. The white clothes actually stem back to a religion called Afro-Cuban, which is the most prevalent religion to this day in Cuba. And when you're entering into it for the very first year, you have to wear all white. So that's why a lot of tourists, when they come here, think that white is just the style and feel like they need to wear white pants.
Nah, that's some fun shit.
They sell you cocktails on the street and you can just walk around with them.
And they're super cheap.
So everyone knows that Cuba is full of these really old, cool American cars. But what most people don't realize is that for every old American car, there's one of these old Russian cars. I had no idea these were here. I think they're just not as well known because the other cars are much more popular on Instagram.
Cubans spend a lot of time waiting in line. Whether you're waiting in line for a Wi-Fi card like we are now, or whether you're going to the bank or a store, for some reason they only let a few people into each location at once, and so there ends up being this really long line outside of many of the stores. Even though it looks like a big jumbled mess behind me, it actually turns out that there's a really good system. So we've learned that when somebody new walks up to get in the line, they ask who's last, and if you're last, you're supposed to raise your hand. So then everybody kind of knows where they stand in line. That way you don't have to wait in this perfectly little single file line. Everybody can just kind of hang out where they're comfortable, but everybody knows exactly where they stand.
Let's talk about Cuban food. We have learned so much about the food culture here in Cuba because we went on a food tour. And when we first got here, it seemed like every other restaurant was an Italian restaurant, and we were so confused about why that is. Turns out, Italian ingredients for typical Italian food is very accessible here and very affordable. So there's pizza and pasta everywhere, which we love. Street pizza has got to be our favorite that we've had here so far. And they fold it like a taco. So if you came to Cuba and you only ate at the touristy restaurants, you would probably leave thinking that the food here is really expensive, but you just have to know where to go, where the locals eat. Like this place, where you can get a coffee for 4 cents from a lady's window of her house. And it's really good. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego. One of the most mind-blowing things that we've learned since being in Cuba is that Cuban sandwiches aren't Cuban. Apparently, Cuban Americans are actually the ones that created the Cuban sandwich. But so many people have come here looking for a Cuban sandwich that the Cubans have actually started serving it in some places.
Before we came to Cuba, I had heard that doctors here make less than $100 per month, and I had such a hard time believing that until we stayed with our first host, whose brother was a neurosurgeon. And when I asked him, his brother makes $80 per month. That's it. And it's amazing to me that anyone here in Cuba is still motivated to become a doctor.
After being here for a week, from what we've observed, the people who work in the tourism industry are the most well off, which means a lot of them are way overqualified for what they're doing. For example, our host in Viñales was a physics professor but made more money opening up his home to tourists than teaching. Then the guy who showed us around the coffee plantation was a computer science engineer. But I think the craziest thing of all is that you can make more money driving a taxi than being a neurosurgeon in Cuba.
One thing that is super unique to Cuba, I don't think we've experienced it anywhere else in the world, is that they actually have two different currencies. They have the local Cuban peso, and then they have the tourist money. This is CUP.
We read that there was like no toilet paper in Cuba. Bring your own toilet paper. And I've been carrying it around, but there's been toilet paper everywhere. We haven't been without it a single time. Some places you do have to pay for it, like a few cents, but there's not been a single bathroom without toilet paper in it, so don't worry. You don't have to bring your own toilet paper. When we very first stepped foot in Cuba, one of the first things that we noticed is how many people were just outside. Kids were playing outside in the yard. People were sitting on the side of the road just having conversations with each other. When we would go into a restaurant, ooh, that's really loud. People would be having conversations and not sitting on their phone. And that is because Wi-Fi in Cuba is pretty new and very restricted. If you want to get connected to Wi-Fi, you have to wait in a really long line and get one of these cards. One card equals 1 hour of internet, but you can only use them in certain Wi-Fi zones, such as these Wi-Fi parks. They're very easy to spot. There are lots throughout the city, and it's just a bunch of people sitting on benches, nose down in their phone, making the most of the Wi-Fi that they paid for. And we had heard before we came to Cuba that it wasn't even worth spending the time to get one of these because the Wi-Fi was really slow, you couldn't even do anything. But we have not found that to be the case at all. We think it's actually pretty fast. We even watched a YouTube video.
It's feeding.
Being without internet
The
for
other
a
one,
whole
and I
week
don't know
has
why.
been the craziest experience for us. We bought Wi-Fi cards like twice to check in on some things, but for the most part, we've been internet free, and it has been so interesting.
It's led to some very unique conversations. Like the other night over dinner, I found myself explaining to Kara how sugar cane turns into sugar.
Things that we never would have talked about before. Like we both just paused after that conversation. We were like, how did we get here?
You get to places and conversations that you could only get to if you aren't able to like look down at your phone and do something more interesting.
There are definitely pros and cons to it. It's been fun like trying to figure out how to get places without maps that we heavily rely on. But there are other times where we're wondering something and we're like, gosh, if we could just Google it, we wouldn't have to wonder anymore.
Or like fact check ourselves for these videos.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm saying this right. Normally I'd look at the internet and make sure.
It's a fun change of pace.
Whoa. Whoa. Let's take a look at how far we are. It's looking pretty good. Islands, maybe? I love how big this canopy is. Really lets you have a view, man. There's not a lot of planes. It's only some. But as we're continuing to do our flight down to Havana, I think I dare say it might be time for our in-flight meal. Again, it's being served by Isla Bella down here in Tampa, Florida, right on what's the name of the street again? East Fowler. Why am I thinking of it? I know what East Fowler is. Right next to near the University of South Florida. So we've got to actually move some stuff around real quick. Hold on. Let me do that. Hopefully nothing crazy happens. Just don't pull on nothing. If something happens, we will have to switch back. But for now, let's go into this one. Let's go into this one. So, what do we have? The Chicharrones. I don't even know how that's actually said. Maybe I'll look it up. The Pollo. It looks like that. It's got a bunch of like onion on it. But it's, ooh, and then a little bit of lime on the side. Those chunks of chicken marinated in citrus, garlic. Then they're fried until they're crispy on the outside. This is not your American fried chicken, bro. It's this one. Look at it. It really tastes really different. The citrus breaks it down, the meat differently, and the garlic gets into everything. It's really good. It's really good. I'd like to squeeze a little bit of lime on it. Let's say we're gonna pick this one right here. Oh gosh. It's so tender, bro. Like it's like you're biting into the most tender. I wonder ever be so good. It's so freaking good, dude. Alright, now let's do the Tostones. You guys haven't seen those yet. Here they are. They're twice fried plantains. It's not a banana, but plantains, they're a bit starchier. They're a bit less sweet. They don't let them ripen. If they ripen, they'd be like the other plantains. They fry them once, and then they smash them flat, and they fry them again. The second fry is what really gets you that crispy exterior. On their own, they're very mild, but with the sauce, which is like what Cuba does, traditionally, that's what I'm gonna do anyway. It's a completely different experience. So they give you like a little sauce right here. So you gotta like dip it in there. Thank you. Intervention. Whoa. Very garlicky. Very garlicky. They really like the garlic. But, just right. Just right. It's so good. And then the last thing we got was the plantain was something like this bucket thing. Mm. Very sweet. They're nice and big too. I love the way they cut them. A bit juicy, maybe even. My God. The combination of the chicken, the tostones, and the plantains. But what a meal, y'all. What a freaking meal. What a freaking meal. I think Tally will be happy with it. When you guys think Tally will be happy with it? I can't wait to destroy that. Let's continue with this light. Your positioning is always, I think, going to be a little bit tricky. Gonna make sure I don't kill us. We're flying. Let's check on progress. Ooh. So I haven't left really Florida yet. How fast are we going? I like to check down the outside. 248 knots. That's pretty fast. It looks like yellow's at 260, so we could potentially push a little bit more, but I think 246 is already pretty fast. I don't really want to mess with that. I think that it's fine the way it is. And ATC we didn't really file a flight plan on this one. I think next time we'll have to. That way we actually have some communication from the towers. But you know, that means that I get to fly the height that I want. Because usually they're not gonna let me fly at 10,000 feet. None of this. If I was like in a Cessna, maybe. But would a Cessna even be able to, like, I don't know. I didn't look at the distance. I don't know that it has enough gas to get this far, to be frank. If I'm totally honest, I don't know. But that food, oh my God, that food was really good. That food was really good. Alright. This is the part of the flight where we just kind of have to sit in it, watch our co-pilot be weird. I'm gonna take the map away. We're doing a good heading. We're doing a good speed. We just gotta let the plane do the work. And then we gotta think about where we're landing. Maybe we do look at the map for where we're landing. Just to kind of figure out direction. I like to kind of think ahead if I can. Ooh, we got a lot of turns before we go in. See, I want us to come in this way, turn out, come back, blank, and then come in. I don't know if I'll do that. I might not. I might just come in here and then just pull her in. That just feels more comfortable. Doesn't look like we're making a change in heading quite a while, man. Oh, stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Trop 1. Trop 1. That's 187 to 165. Not even a huge jump. So that should be easy. I could get closer to the line, but I think this is fine. We're not separating from it, which is what's most important. We're parallel to it. Thanks, Abdullah. That's kind of the thing. I'm assuming that's you. Positive tension. I'm gonna do some music. I kind of like to do a little bit of lo-fi. Although, we didn't finish our Havana thing. We could watch the rest of that. Let's look at, well, not the rest of it. Another one. Travel vlog. And, okay, here we go. I think I found one. That might be interesting. Here, you know, it was kind of, I don't know. I felt like you just need to be able to see more. They were just talking at the end. Hey, we got better music. A little bit of authentic music even. We're in the middle of the ocean now. Not a ton of views.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to our channel.
Just a
It's
little
the
bit.
Choose here from Choose to Explore, where we teach
A
you
lot
guys
of
how to see the
blue.
world.
A lot of blue.
So we
It's
are
a twin
here in
engine.
Havana, Cuba. In order for us to get here, we faced a lot of obstacles. We had to leave work early. We had to beat a hurricane. We had a long layover in the airport. But because of a good flight deal, we ended up here. Now, this trip is a little bit different than what we usually do because we're here with two amazing couples. As you see, they are so happy to be here. You can tell so much. But we're so lucky that they invited us down here. We're going to have an amazing trip. So say what's up. We got Lee here. We got Bree here. We got La India. And we got Alistair. So stay tuned, y'all. We got a ton to do on this trip in 6 days. So stay tuned, y'all. On the airport, we got a ride. And we're taking a taxi to the Airbnb. It cost about $20 US to get there. And there's nothing else we could really do. So let's get there. So we just checked into our Airbnb, and in Cuba you have to stay in casa particulares of Americans because you can't stay in hotels. So we are on the 6th floor.
Yeah.
And Liv, talk about it.
So pretty much it's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. We each get our own little space, so I like it. It's cool.
We have this
Cozy.
beautiful patio here. We have the kitchen. We have our own beds. We actually got 2 beds. So we love it right here, and we have a beautiful view looking out to Havana. So check it out, y'all.
Big love, thanks.
And boy, let me tell you,
Positive
Cuba is
reinforcement.
hot.
Ha ha ha.
I am, look at this, look at this. This is crazy.
I love it. I love it here. The weather is perfect.
Loves it here. Looks like it's lovely.
So we made it to Revolutionary Square,
Like
which is about a
barbecue
20-minute walk
from the
from our
coast
Casa
state.
Particular. And we are in
Like coming to
Revolutionary Square
Florida.
because if you see behind me, that right there is Che Guevara.
It's from like
And
New York.
Right over there,
You wanna leave,
you see
bro.
Camilo Cienfuegos. So super dope to be here. And behind me, pardon me, I don't know who or what that is, but still dope to see.
Oh, what's that? He said I'm not gonna Google it. Who cares?
All right, so our food just came out. We waited a little bit. I got the rice with the chicken with the salsa. Liv got some.
Rice and beans.
They were really limited in their options, but let's hope it tastes good. Alright, so we out here in the classic car. We heading down to El Cristo de Havana to try to catch the sunset. And no better way to celebrate Jesus than with a coconut itself.
Well, chill, you gonna have to give me 100.
Alright, and now we will enter La Barca.
La barca. La
just took a cheap 2 peso boat ride across the water. It was beautiful and scenic, right, Bree? But now we're in Old Havana. We're just gonna chill and hopefully just walk around and see what Old Havana has. And now we're walking through Old Havana. And tell me this does not look like Colombia. Man, Cartagena. Just nobody chasing you around, rapping to you the whole time. And now we're heading to Plaza Vieja in Old Havana. If y'all can see right here on the floor, you got those cobble streets. It's real, takes you like you're back in time again here. Here we are at Pizza Retro. And the food has arrived. We got a Hawaiian pizza and a margarita pizza for the night.
I know
here we are at Plaza Vieja. Just finished that pizza.
I'm not making it.
Nice little area right here. And here's to gelato. Bree was talking about this all day, so okay, I ain't gonna lie, it do look good though. It do look fire, I ain't gonna hold you. And we all got our gelato. About $1.50. And it's about to be 9 o'clock. We're here right across the, I don't know, Havana something, Crista, where we were. And we're hoping to see them light the cannons across. So they just turned the light on. I don't know if y'all can see, but there's some fire that's over there. But I want to see the cannon. Alright, they about to light it. Oh, yeah. Bomba!
Alright, we're gonna pause real quick. We gotta check on progress. We do not want to lose track of this plane. Alright, where we at? And it's Biagio. Alright, we're about halfway. That's not bad. That's pretty quick. It's supposed to be about 45 minutes. We're gonna land pretty soon. And when we did look at the way that we're coming in, it looks like we do have to do a full circle. But we have potential to go in for a right turn is what I'm thinking, based on what I'm seeing. But again, we're kind of getting there, right? It's not too bad. I'm gonna leave this up, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the YouTube share up on the top.
Alright, it's day 2 here in Cuba. We got picked up in this beautiful truck. We got Ali coming, and we're heading to Vinales, which is supposed to be a super dope trip. So stay tuned, y'all. Y'all don't want to miss this. Out here with the gang. We were so lucky to have Ali as a guide to Vinales because she was similar to us in age and very comfortable speaking about our differences in culture. We really learned so much from our experiences with her. Because it was 6 of us, we paid $60 per person for the day trip, which included the 2.5-hour ride to Vinales from Havana, entrance fees to Cueva del Indio, a boat ride through the tunnel, tobacco plantation, horse riding, smoking Cuban cigars, and El Mural de Prehistoria.
You're just saving the best
Also,
stuff.
it included my favorite meal throughout our stay in the country.
Are you?
We made a video on this experience that you can find in the top right corner and in the description.
Oh, in the description. Maybe it's too long. It must be too long.
Alright, so it's 6 a.m. We are leaving La Havana and we are heading to Trinidad, which seems way closer on the map than what it really is. So it actually is about 5 hours away, and it was really a struggle just to get and find transportation because the bus here does not work all days. So if y'all want to know the days that it comes, please check out our guide below. But
going on a vacation.
We rented a car yesterday, and it's $170 for $170 US, which is a lot more than I expected to pay here. But it was significantly cheaper than any other mode of transportation.
You need, obviously,
and this is the whip that we're in. It might be a little
maybe
tight,
$20,000, $30,000.
but we in a Jeep.
You can go to a
5 hours, hopefully. Let's see how it go.
I love these type of things, especially when you do it and you're watching black people. I think it's just a little bit more
stop. Man, we needed to stretch our leg. This is a long journey. We are in the country out here in Cuba on our way to Trinidad. Let's get back in there now. And we just made it here in Trinidad. Boy, that was a journey, but it was beautiful and scenic. And 5.5 hours later, we are here. I love the streets. It's cobblestone. Not great if you got a car, but great to sit and enjoy and check into our Airbnb. It's 1 o'clock, and let's see what's there. Checked into our Airbnb and it's amazing here. My man Alistair couldn't wait. He took his shirt off. But it's a dope spot here. It's like open. I love the concept of it. We're in a 3-bed. Everybody got their own bathroom. We got a patio. And it's just real good to be around each other and enjoy each other's time. Trinidad is hot. Let me tell y'all that. Trinidad is hot, but it's well worth the visit. So check it out, y'all.
I don't know why.
Alright, and we got the gang out here and we are heading out to go get some food. But ladies and gentlemen, be aware of the cobblestone roads. This place is cool, but be sure you got some ankle support. Ladies, leave the heels at home.
Ankle support.
So this place kind of reminds me of Antigua, Guatemala, just because of the colonial bright colors. So we're here at Playa and it's beautiful, and I'm not even a beach person. The sand here is a little bit shelly, but beautiful nonetheless.
Yes, the water is really clear, it's really warm. I like this beach a lot.
I think it's definitely a place that there could be a lot of tourists, but right now if you come during sunset, there's not that many people here, but they have the beach huts. I mean, what are they like? The palm tree structures. They have the beach chairs. So if you guys are in the Trinidad area, I would definitely recommend to come here and support the Cuban people.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
My boy Lee. Wow, that is crazy.
We're about 80% there.
So we're just getting back from the beach and we're in Trinidad. And if you can see, it's only like 6:30, but it is so dark here.
Pitch black.
And that's because I'm unsure. I was talking to some workers and they were telling me that during this time about 8 months ago, the government just has been turning on and off the lights at different times of the day. So it's kind of hard to kind of predict it. So we were trying to get food, but there's no electricity. So we're hoping that we can find somewhere to eat. But if you guys do see any lights anywhere, it's people with their own light. It's not actually electricity that is running. So let's see what we'll get into tonight.
Right.
So we found a spot that looks like it's serving food, but it's just pizza and spaghetti. But it's cool how resourceful these people are. Food has arrived. We got the Hawaiian pizza. This is like our 3rd or 4th Hawaiian pizza that we've been here. But it's been pretty good. You know, when something goes right, you don't change it. Yep, it gave us an extra one for us right here. I'm really jealous because Lindia got this amazing piece of steak with the rice. They really made the presentation good on this. So I definitely come check this one out, y'all. If they got power.
Not good to know. Not good to tell.
And just like that, 5 minutes later, music is playing, lights are out, night and day is completely different. So you never know when electricity is gonna come on, but still a cool experience. So if you can't see right now, you probably can't. There ain't a lot of electricity, but the music, the people, it's very lively here in Trinidad. So the last three standing. It's myself, we got Trini, and we got Lindia. And we just gonna follow the music and see where it takes us tonight. So stay tuned, y'all. And the music has brought us here. Check out this dope vibe Saturday night, y'all. This is Cuba.
You still dance.
So we just had an amazing time in La Casa de Música, and honestly, I was really surprised by it because I wasn't expecting it.
Let's give them a like. This was a great video.
Now we're at our next spot. We're moving from one spot to another, and it's supposed to be the most popular discoteca in all of Trinidad. I'm up here with the turn up right here. Everybody see what the discoteca in a cave is like. Yeah, so stay tuned here. Alright, and we're inside of the cave and heading down to La Discoteca.
La salsa. We're getting pretty close, y'all. We're getting pretty freaking close. Alright, we're coming in. We're about probably, I want to say 10-15 minutes out. Let's find out.
Good morning, good morning. So, I'm surprised that I woke up as early as it is, which is 8 o'clock right now, because we had I had a crazy night at the cave and also the Casa de la Música. But it's good to get a sense of the nightlife here in Cuba and Trinidad because it was fantastic.
So our Casa Particular offers breakfast for $5 per person. So that's what we're gonna check out now.
So let's hope it's good. But it's definitely good to support the Cuban people.
But we're coming in for a landing.
We made an entire video on our experience at El Cuban Natural Park. It was about 15 minutes away and $10 per person to enter. To get to the waterfall, we had to hike about 50 minutes, but it was well shaded and marked paths. At the fall, we had life jackets if you are not a strong swimmer. The views of the fall are beautiful, but are deep. Behind the falls, they have a cave system that is pitch dark and has some bats. We were too tired to continue, but I do hear it is beautiful.
A little bit of time. I'm gonna keep it up. I'll keep a watch on it.
And we're back in Trinidad. And boy, I don't even know how long that journey was because I fell asleep. I am so tired. So now we're walking, trying to get some food.
It might be over by then, but it may not.
I ain't gonna last too much longer without it.
They're doing a lot of work. A lot of channels do not do this much work. This is
and my food just came out. I got the pork ribs. Honestly, it looks amazing. I can't wait to eat it.
And
with us again,
choosing to put that,
and we just drove about 15 minutes to a different beach, which is Playa Maria.
And again, there's at least 3 of them.
It's real similar, but it's way less people here.
So I can't wait to see what else they've done.
It looks like we're the only ones here on this side, so we're gonna walk up and see what's there.
Right.
In total, it was about 2,400.
What's
up, explorers? We're the Choose from Choose to Explore, and we traveled for the 4 of us to go there and come back. So pretty good deal.
And I just
so
follow you.
Stay tuned and let's watch the sunset here.
Follow button. I'm a little confused by that. Like, subscribe button. I don't see it. But I'm already subscribed to them. That's why. I must have already seen videos from them.
Nah, this is nice.
He said, now this is nice.
So we accidentally pulled up to this place called Real Trinidad,
the rest,
and boy, the scenery is beautiful. I mean, we got here because we were running away from some other guy who was trying to give us a tour or something. But we just looked up and we were like, oh, let's check this place out. We saw that chefs were in there and they were cooking lobster. So we like lobster in Trinidad? Yeah, we got to eat here for sure. So we're right here on a rooftop, and it's just stunning, just the ambiance here. Definitely the place to take your wife, right?
That's right.
So they have a lot of things on the menu, and I don't know how they got these things in Cuba, but I'm not going to be one to complain. Let's see what they got when our actual food comes out. So the food just came out. I got the chicken with the coconut and pineapple, and Olivia got...
I got pasta with pesto and veggies. That's it.
But let me tell you about Lala.
I think it's just
Lala, she got that lobster.
Man, you got money.
She got money.
Hey, it's the same price as
So we made it to La Conchanchara, which is right here in the heart of Trinidad. Now, La Conchanchara is actually a traditional staple drink in Trinidad, and it's served in these beautiful ceramic cups right there. So the ingredients are what, Liv?
It's limon, agua, hielo, y aguardiente.
It's a really cool place to be, and between 4 and 7 p.m. they actually have live music here playing. So I definitely would recommend to come down here and try what?
La Conchanchara.
La Conchanchara. Now we're walking through Plaza Mayor.
Tostones. Just for fun.
Okay, so next day here in Trinidad, actually our last day. Bree told me all about these fire fish sandwiches that she said I had yesterday, so you know I gotta go and try it. She says it's only 60 pesos, which is like 50 cents, actually less than 50 cents, like 30 cents. So let's go check it out. And right here is where those famous fish sandwiches are. As you see right here. And here goes that fish sandwich with the fresco. 85 pesos, like 50 cents for these two. And today we are heading back to Havana, but we're gonna take a different route and we're gonna take a mountainous route. So our first stop here is the beautiful mountains where they said that Che, Fidel, and Camilo were fighting with the rifles in guerrilla warfare for during the revolution. So it's dope to get the history and see how things were done here as well. But it's just a long journey, about 6 hours. We made it back here in Havana in the same Airbnb. Once again, $70 a night, around like $23 per couple, which is here. And it's good to just be back in Old Havana and just explore before our last day, which is tomorrow. But still love the views. We all got our same bathrooms and bedrooms, but we'll just hang out here. And next up, we're here at the National Capitol in Havana. And this is a beautiful, humongous building, and it's based off of the U.S. National Capitol. So super dope to be here and see it. Check it out. So going to Cuba is the closest thing to time travel that I've experienced. From the old buildings, the classic cars, it's like going back into time. Havana honestly is not the prettiest city I've ever been to, but it does have an old world charm.
This is temporary,
and now we're doing the same struggle we've been doing for days, and that's trying to find...
I think it's one of the...
That's right. Let's see if we find something good, but I'm hopeful, but I don't know if we will.
Like,
Alright, come on.
Musicians.
We heard good things about El Dandy, so let's check it out. It has really dope decor. They play American music, and the food so far looks pretty good. So I'll show you out what I'll take you guys through what it's really like in here.
Bad way and you know.
So we found this dope spot here, right in the Central Park. There's people who are playing basketball. There's kids over here who are playing, and there's people teaching them. It's really a cool place for different sports and activities. My boy Alistair over here working on his getting his weight up because this dude over here challenging him. So I'm gonna show you.
Alistair and I played pickup basketball with locals on the slipperiest courts I've ever played on.
It's crazy I can remember that.
I love how basketball united people regardless of the language barrier.
Every little nook of that game.
Alright, so the sun just set and we walked to Café de Hamel. So this is the central where they have all the Afro-Cuban culture.
What's the one thing that I can ever say that was... Not one thing. A lot of things were done very well throughout my opera. But something I always appreciated because I was able to play video games.
So unfortunately it looks like Sundays at 12 o'clock, midday, they have a big festival or activities here in Café de Hamel. But we were in Trinidad yesterday, so we just missed it.
It was always nice.
So we were unsure about what this is. We were walking back to dinner, but just check it out. Everybody dressed in white.
I love this. This is what happens when you do it cheap, right? You get to enjoy the place where you went. You're not so focused on spending enough money for the experience. You let the experiences come to you, and they're doing You're old enough to remember that, but that was
our last day here in Cuba. We're
not
really doing much, just gonna shower, chill, go to the airport because I hear this is one of the worst airports in the world. So I'm gonna try to get
around the world
3.5 to 4 hours early, even though we have no check bags.
I think that
just to try to make sure we get there in time and not miss our flight because I do not want to be stuck here in Cuba. Our flight's at 12:30. We're probably going to try to get there at 9. So I'll take you out to the process as well. But last day here in Cuba.
Obviously. Capoeira, Jean-Claude Van Damme.
So from our Casa Particular, we took a taxi from our good friend Alexis, who I highly recommend using to get from the airport, from our Casa Particular to the airport for $20 US. And it took us about 45 minutes in order to get through. But I think that's because we came so early, which was at 9:30, and there weren't a lot of people in the airport. But there were some crazy lines if you are going to other destinations. Luckily enough, Our flight isn't until 12:50 and we got here at 9:30, so we kind of just breezed through. But that really just wraps up our trip. This was an amazing trip here for 6 days in Cuba. It was definitely a difficult place to navigate, but we had a great time here, and I would recommend it. And thank you guys so much for checking out our channel.
And there's a reason there's like
What's up, explorers?
You can
We're the
pay
Choose from Choose to Explore. And
to
we
get
traveled
their
over.
stuff.
Sure to like,
Like,
comment,
they're-
subscribe, and we'll see you
They're
guys on the
spending
next
money for
one.
this. They are working super hard for this. I appreciate it. Thank you. And I hope to have your blessing to share this with everybody. That was great. It was one of the best. We're coming in for a landing, so let's go back. We're still parallel to the line, which means we can come in for a right-handed landing. If we keep this heading, it should land us based on my guess, like right here. We just need to start slowing down soon, and then start decreasing altitude probably even sooner. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go in the map and we're gonna start playing with FLC, and we are gonna drop our altitude down from 10,000 down to, I want to say 5, just to start. FLC, and we're gonna cut back on power because, ooh, that's not good. I had a spill. I had to take care of. I spilled some on my kombucha. Not cool. Not cool at all. But again, 5,000. We got to put the FLC on. It's probably an altitude hold right now. Well, it is on. So that means it's at 97. That's a power issue. We're gonna pull back on power and it should go down. We're getting next to a little bit of land here. I like that. So that's Havana. It's about 240 miles away from Tampa. And as you've seen from the videos that we've been watching, it's a completely different world. Everything from the cars, the music, the food, the history. I hope you learned something on our flight today. I hope that you know a little bit more about this country, its people, you know, and the world in general. And next week, we're heading to the other coast. We're going to LA, and we're going to San Francisco. We're flying up the Pacific Ocean coastline. Some of the most famous airports in the entire country, actually. And we're sticking in North America. And we're gonna find the best food en route that are here in Tampa, where we can actually see it and maybe taste it together. So, drop a follow, stop in. We will be back here next Saturday at 3 p.m. We are at 4,900, and now it's struggling. It's going to 173. So we're going to give it a little bit more power. And we're going to check our map. We're very close, actually. It might be smarter to actually pull back on the power and drop to 3,000. 2,000 is too low. I don't know what's the highest thing over there is. We can check our flight plan, but I don't trust it. We should know the heading, the airport at least. Looks like it's going to be 229. Best thing to do is just eyeball it. Can't always trust the instruments. We're coming down. Nice and steady. Where are we at? We're going pretty slow. Almost at 5. Lower than 5. FLC's not on. Oh my god, almost killed us. She's just been slowing down this entire time. That's scary. FLC was not on. Why is it not going down? Did I not change altitude? Is it not on? Altitude is not on. Now we gotta go to 2. But I have to... I might just take manual control of this. Let's kill the autopilot. Cut power. Pull up. We're gonna do this by hand. Doesn't like that. He does not like that at all. But we are gonna cut power one way or the other. I see the airport. We are way past our line. We need to turn back right. And what we're gonna do is we need a visual. I see it. We're gonna cut this out. We need to go way. It's actually not terrible for a heading. You can get the final from here. As long as we respect airspeed. 171. 2,000. Wheels? That's why it's pinging me. He wants the wheels. So about 153. We're gonna add a little bit of power. going in to the right? No. Yeah? This way, I think. Yeah. There's final. Which means runway is pretty close. We're going for that one. Huh. This is very different from doing it on a mission. It'd be very obvious. I'm gonna cut all power. That runway is very close, and we are gonna do flaps. $118. Just get parallel to this line and keep cutting speed. $109 is very slow, but it might be what I need to make this work. Whoa. It's hard for me to hear what's going on. And I gotta hear that engine. Alright, let's try it again. More power. Less power. Power off. Turning. Where are we at? 91. It's perfect. I did not expect the grass runway. Not even a little bit. It wants us to turn around. Good landing. We are here in Havana. Hola, Cuba. It's good to be here, man. I did not expect, I think when I looked it up, it looked like it was not that. But we were definitely at the right place. So, let's get to our parking spot. Thank you so much for flying with me today, for coming to hang out. I really, really appreciate it. It's been a fun time flying from Tampa, Florida down to Havana, Cuba. And next time, we are going to the West Coast of the United States of America. I cannot wait. That's gonna be fun. And I'll be on for like smaller, shorter stuff. Regular flights that don't involve a meal. In this beautiful Piaggio Italio. Yeah, stay away from the building. Or you will get clipped. For real. This has been the best stream I've had since joining YouTube. I really appreciate you stopping by. We'll talk offline about everything else. Have a good day. We did it!